Why, hello to you and welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Ron's Basement. I appreciate you being here today. You may not like me by the end of this live stream. I'm going to give you my opinion on something major going on right now in the gold and silver market, and it's likely not going to be very popular, but you may like my long-term views. We're also going to talk about our friends at Goldman Sachs. They are saying something absolutely incredible about the gold price. Remember, Goldman Sachs. What are they saying about gold, and what are the ramifications for our good friend silver? Also, massive story about commercial real estate. Guys, there is doom and gloom, not just on the horizon, but happening right now. And this particular story happened in my very hometown. Yes, I'm in a basement in St. Louis, but you're not going to believe. And I can give you some personal insight into this latest story about the commercial real estate sector. It is not good at all. And finally, China and silver. What is going on with China and silver? I've got a new story, some inside information that I think is going to make your skin crawl when it comes to China and silver. Thank you for being here. Hey guys, obviously the biggest story going on right now is the situation in the Middle East. $3,000 gold. Look, we've got a couple things to look at from this perspective. A lot of people were clamoring. I was getting email after email from basement dwellers, from other friends, people who followed me. Several of these people said, we could have $3,000 gold by the end of the week. Is that possible? I'm going to tell you right now, I say, no way, Jose, although I'm often wrong. But did we see a spike in gold overnight that we do need to talk about? And what can we look at that gives us some hints, some indications that that was indeed the case? Look, we don't know how this week's going to play out. Let's talk about this situation, scary situation in the Middle East right now. Here's what we know. Obviously, Iran had attacked, what was it, an embassy or a consulate that belonged to Israel. Israel attacked, let's get the facts straight here. Israel initially attacked a consulate of Iran's, or an embassy of Iran's. Iran vowed revenge. Last night, they launched 200 drones, missiles, you know the whole story. The big deal here is that this attack is being portrayed as a massive failure in the West mainstream media. They're basically saying that that Israel and the United States, with the help, this is critical, with the help of the United States, the United Kingdom, and several other countries, were able to basically repel this entire attack that was coming from Iran. They're basically claiming victory over Iran in this situation. I just find that very interesting as number one, why they would be so boisterous about that. But number two, what's the benefit of having done that? Okay, now, a lot will depend on how Israel responds. So Israel attacked Iran. Okay, that was a couple of weeks ago, attacked their consulate, whatever. Iran attacked Israel. With the help of the United States and the United Kingdom, Israel claims victory, that they repelled this attack by Iran. Now the ball essentially is in Israel's court. How will Israel respond? Now, it's very interesting. This is critical to understand that the White House has been very vocal, telegraphing, saying right now that they will not support Israel in an attack against Iran. But I mean, come on, man. I mean, I don't know. It's like, well, like the United States will say, well, we'll help Israel defend itself against Iran. But if Israel decides to now counterattack against Iran, we're not going to help out. I don't know, guys. It's a very dicey situation. Did gold spike to $3,000, to high 2,700s on this news last night? We're going to look at that in just 1 second. But let's remember one thing. Okay, everybody's claiming now that we could see a massive move up in gold this week on this news. These big spikes, two things to consider. Number one, these big spikes, when we have these massive sudden spikes in the precious, I mean, haven't we been around long enough to realize they never last? Okay, I'm going to tell you what's really critical a little bit later and what you do have to be optimistic about when it comes to the silver price, when it comes to the gold price. But these big spikes aren't really what we're after. Okay, they never seem to have a lot of legs to them, if that makes sense. And let's remember as well, this is big because I know you, and I know you're like me, right? You're a human being, a feeling, compassionate, reasonable person. Basement dwellers, and when you're here in the basement, you're a basement dweller, please give this a thumbs up. You can subscribe. Still free to subscribe, and super chats are always super appreciated. I'll even try to pull them up on the screen as I'm going. Now, back to you and me. Let's not forget, with all this hoopla, all this excitement, gold's going to the moon, right? Israel or Iran attacked Israel. Israel attacked Iran. The Middle East is falling apart. Guys, let's remember the critical thing here. We're talking about human lives on both sides. We're talking about human lives. Okay. I know you, you know me. We have families, we have friends. So do all those people in the Middle East on both sides of this conflict. So let's pray that it doesn't escalate. Okay. We don't want people in human lives to be any more negatively impacted so that the price of gold and silver go up. I want to make that real clear. Now, we don't control what goes on, and we make moves with our money. We buy silver, we buy gold to protect ourselves. That's okay. But let's remember, we're talking about human beings, right? People like you and me, people with spouses, brothers and sisters, children, grandchildren. Look, I've been all over the world. I don't like to brag too much, but I've been all over the darn world. And I'll tell you what, no matter where you go on this planet, we all share that common bond, right? We're human beings. People everywhere love their families. Now, are we going to see a big no? I'm going to say no. You may hate me. Will we see a big move up in the gold price and the silver price because of what's going on? I don't think so. Okay. Remember, gold and silver are smart. They look out into the future. This has been the most telegraphed attack in the history of the world. I mean, CNN, the Children's News Network, and NBC and Fox News, they already had all their graphics ready, and they had everything ready to go. Special reports. I mean, we knew this was coming. Okay, gold and silver. Are you kidding me? Gold and silver probably knew this was coming 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago, certainly 6 days ago. So I would believe that this has already been priced in. Now, if God forbid the situation escalates even further, and that's my question. I want you to think about this. Okay. If you're Iran and you're trying to attack Israel, and Israel is able to repel the attack, but it's with help of United States military and UK military, wouldn't you feel like that you were kind of at war with the United States? War, I'm sorry, I'm always pronouncing it wrong. War. Somebody really ripped me on that one the other day. War with the United States. I mean, I can't see how we can't this. I don't want to talk about escalation, but it feels like the situation is ripe for escalation. Again, let's hope that's not the case. Let's take a look though at what happened. This is interesting, very, very interesting. And I want to credit, I think it's Smart Silver Stacker pointed this out last night, that the gold and silver don't trade over the weekend. All right, I can prove it to you. Here, let's go out. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys, I'm not prepared. Hold on, we're having technical difficulties. It's hopefully the only time today. And let's make that real big. And let's go out here. Let's go to Pinbex real quick, right? Like the gold price and the silver price, they're stagnant all weekend. They'll start trading again tonight. All right, we've covered this. Can you still believe, though, basement dwellers? Look, I know we went through a little bit of a rough patch on Friday. Don't forget, look at that gold price. I want you to look at it, and I want you to join me in a big smile. 2,351. Silver, 2,804. Oh my gosh, this is Pimbex. I just happen to be here. Let's go to silver coins. Pimbex sponsors Ron's Basement. Thank you, Pimbex, for your sponsorship. Guys, I've bought from Pimbex probably 6 times now. I bought from them before they sponsored the channel. I found they have the best prices, the best service, and great selection. I never tell you what to do, but I would recommend that you may benefit from checking out Pimbex next time you decide to buy some bullion online. Let's go over and look at this massive spike in the gold price. And oh my gosh, Ron took us to a crypto site, crypto.com. This is a 7-day chart of Pax Gold. You may be asking, what's Pax Gold? We're going to go find out here in just 1 second. And again, Smart Silver Stacker is who pointed this out last night. But you can see last night, the price of Pax Gold shot up right around when these attacks occurred, all the way to almost $2,700. But what is Pax Gold? Let's go check that out. Well, here we go. Pax Gold, the safest way to invest in investment-grade physical gold. It's a digital token backed by physical gold, okay? PaxG offers investors a cost-effective way to own investment-grade physical gold with all the benefits of the blockchain. We're not here to, I'm not a crypto guy. I'm not a Bitcoin guy. I'm not here to debate the whole crypto thing. I'm just showing you this trades 24 hours a day, and each Pax Gold token is backed by 1 fine troy ounce of gold stored in an LBMA vault in London. Well, we know we trust those people at the LBMA in London, England, don't we now? If you own PaxG, you own the underlying physical gold held in custody by Paxos Trust Company. Well, I'm not going to debate that, but what I will say that is if this token, which had followed, let's look at Friday, it was as low as 23.21. It follows closely, obviously, the price of physical gold, 1 ounce of gold. And as we look on Saturday at looks like what, 4:30? I don't know, whatever time that was. I don't know what time zone that is. It did shoot up. And if we look at right now, okay, it's still up a little bit, right? 24.34 as opposed to back here Friday, we were at 20. So are we going to see this massive uptick in the gold price on Monday? I'm sorry, guys. I just don't think we are. Okay. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but what we do want to remember when it comes to the price of gold, number one, like we just showed you, $23.52 for gold, silver over $28 an ounce on Pimbex website. We are in good shape. And what's so critical, we got to get it through my mom used to always tell me I have a thick skull. I don't know what that means. Maybe is your skull thick? Too thick to realize what that means, that we're in good shape. But more importantly, this rally that we've seen in silver and gold over the last few months, with silver maybe just over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but nonetheless has been driven by fundamentals. These spikes, right, on sudden geopolitical events. They can add to that foundation, but I just don't see that we're going to have a big spike. I'm going to go out on a limb. Don't hate me. I think that we could actually have a challenging week ahead for both the gold and the silver price. Remember that saying, buy the rumor, sell the news? I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not telling you or recommending you make any trades, but I think we could have a rough week ahead. I hope I'm wrong. And let me tell you, right? I'm just like you, right? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. And I want to tell you something. I am often wrong. So the fact that I'm saying we're going to have a bad week in gold and silver, don't be mad, please, right? I'm just looking at everything going on, running it through the supercomputer, which can at times be a little impaired, and telling you what I think. If you think that I'm always right, well, talk to Suzie. She can tell you to the contrary. All right, let's see what we missed here. I don't think so. That was wrong. I covered all that. Slow and steady rise. Okay. Oh, this was interesting. I found this super interesting. And then, guys, we're going to talk about what Goldman Sachs is saying about gold and what it means for silver. Can you say $50 silver? Goldman, they're going to change their name to Silverman Sachs. We're going to cover that. We're going to talk about the big commercial real estate bomb that went off in my own hometown, right here in St. Louis, Missouri, home of the Gateway Arch. Okay. And China silver, crazy news. But this is what I found absolutely fascinating. Ah, shoot. I'm not prepared. Darn it, guys. I don't know. I apologize. Hold on here. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. I want to show you something. This made no sense to me. And I saw a headline about this last night when the attack, when the I keep saying when Iran's attack on Israel occurred, you would have expected, right? Gold did spike, right? Well, it did, right? I agree with Smart Silver Stacker and what he demonstrated so wisely last night. But what also went on? What also? I can't say war, Bitcoin. All right. Again, this is not a crypto show. I'm not promoting Bitcoin. Bitcoin went down. Hold on. Let's do 5-day. Okay, look at this. Yesterday, when all that occurred, why did Bitcoin pretty much, had a pretty big crash, went from 67,000 all the way down to 62,000. That's, that's almost 10%. That would be like gold dropping $200 per ounce. I have no answer for that. I just find it very peculiar because they claim Bitcoin is digital gold. Does that make any sense? It makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know why, right? But again, that's why I'm not anti-crypto. I'm not anti-Bitcoin. I do believe in the blockchain, but that's why I prefer real physical metal as opposed to digital metal. Everybody has their, and I will say this is one great thing, and you may not have ever thought about this, okay? One great thing is that people that believe in Bitcoin, people that believe in crypto in general, we may or may not agree with them on the how wise it is to invest in those things. However, it's critical for us to remember that we do share a brotherhood with the Bitcoiners and the crypto people. We share we share the knowledge. Those people are just like you and me. They have taken the time to investigate and to understand the horrors and the injustice. It's a new word, injustice. The injustice of the fiat money system, the money printing, the paper money, right? The thievery that has occurred from the lower and middle class, not just in the United States, but all over the world. So we do share that camaraderie with our friends. All right, enough of that. I don't know how I got off onto that tangent. Let's talk about Goldman Sachs. Old Goldman Sachs. Crazy news out of Goldman Sachs. Let's go here. I want to read this to you. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Okay. This is from Goldman Sachs. Look, the first part of this is not really worth paying attention to. Okay. So I want you to go about halfway down, a little past halfway down. You'll see the word indeed. I think my arrow is on it. Let's read this and let's talk about what this is telling us. Goldman Sachs, right? The most prestigious financial institution in the world, talking about gold, title, and unshakable bull market. Then they say, indeed, the majority of the gold upside since mid-2022 has been driven by new incremental physical factors, not least a significant acceleration in emerging markets, central bank accumulation, as well as Asian retail buying. Those factors remain well affirmed by current macro policy and geopolitics, right? The world is falling apart. The world is realizing, that the United States can weaponize the US dollar. Come on, right? We know that. Moreover, that's a good word. Moreover, with Fed cuts still a likely catalyst to soften the ETF headwind later in the year. Oh, the ETF headwind. Yeah, let's talk about that, Goldman Sachs. Let's talk about the fact that we already have record gold prices. We have a strong silver price. And And the ETF, I'd call it more of a demolition by the ETFs, that in the West, money has been flowing out of the gold ETFs, out of the silver ETFs. If we just have a slowdown in the decelerization, if we just have a what's that word I'm looking for? A stabilization, and God forbid people actually start to put money, it's going to blow up. There's no silver available, guys. There's no silver. There's none. Well, there's some, but it's being dwindled. The Chinese are saying, yes, send it on over. And we got crazy news about what's going on with China and silver we're going to get to later. And the right tail risk from the U.S. election cycle, we forgot about that. We're always forgetting. We're in a crazy, the most contentious election in history in fiscal setting. Fiscal is a fancy way to say that your government cannot use a calculator. Monetary policy is what the Fed does. Fancy. We want some fancy. I know most of you may know this, but for those of you that don't, monetary policy is what Jeremy Powell and the Federal Reserve do, right? Raising interest rates, lowering interest rates, printing money. Oh, yeah, right. Fiscal is what the government does, which is overspend like drunken sailors, right? So we got a U.S. crazy election and a fiscal situation that's just a mess. I'll say it for you, Goldman Sachs. Gold's bullish skew remains clear. From the rebased price level, that means we have a new base in the price level. Some people are saying 2100 is the new floor, whatever. With these positive price factors still set to play out ahead of us, we upgrade. Goldman Sachs upgrade our price target to $2,700 a troy ounce by year end. Hold on a second. Let me hide that. Previously, it was $2,300. Goldman Sachs is calling for $2,700 gold by the end of the year. Now, some of you, that word of caution, caution, be careful. Some of you will say, Goldman's always do the opposite of what Goldman Sachs says. Are we headed for a big correction? Guys, it could happen. But sometimes Goldman Sachs is right. And if they're right on this, $2,700 gold is going to mean at least $50 silver from the Ron's Basement supercomputer calculator. So be ready, be prepared, okay? This is good times ahead. We'll see how Goldman Sachs does, all right? Let's not forget. And Goldman Sachs can't say this, but we can say it, right? Basement dwellers, we can say this. It's okay. Trust me. I want you to smile for me here with us for a second. Smile. We can say this. You know why? Because do you know who Thomas Jefferson was? He didn't write the Constitution. I think Hamilton wrote it or somebody. But your founding fathers are proud of you, okay? They are. And what we're taught in the history books is how important, right? How important. Before they brainwashed you, okay, that this is paper, is worth something. This is paper, okay? Your founding fathers gave you some great advice, and that is use silver and gold. They actually put that advice for you, right? Those of you who are joining me from the United States of America, in the United States Constitution, like the Bible of our country. Maybe that's not a good comparison. I hope I didn't offend anyone. But I had to take a class in high school. I went to CBC high school, right? And that was like senior year Constitution class. Mr. Haggerty, I remember it well. He was the varsity football coach. He was crazy about the Constitution, right? They put it in there. Well, let's talk about what Goldman Sachs can't say. Hold on, I'll be right back. I think I'm having a coughing attack. I'll tell you what Goldman Sachs can't say. It's real interesting. What they can't say is that the Fed is in deep trouble, right? They're in cahoots. All the people that work at the Fed are ex-Goldman Sachs. We got big trouble. We got big trouble in this country. And even, who's in bigger trouble? Our old friend Gomer Pyle. Remember what was that show with Gomer Pyle? Somebody put it in the comments. I won't be able to read it. Remember Sergeant Carter and Gomer Pyle? Yeah, I like to say Joe Biden, Sergeant Carter, and Jerome Powell is Gomer Pyle. I'm going to hear Gomer Pyle, I think, or Jerome Powell, I think Gomer Pyle. Gomer's in big trouble. Okay. You know why? I'm going to tell you why, because it's turned into a clown show at the Fed, and it's going to be good news for silver and gold. I will beat the table on this, basement dwellers. This is so critical for us to know and understand. The Fed is in big, big trouble. The United States is in big, big trouble. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we are. If you can work a calculator, you too, yes, you can figure out that the United States of America is in big trouble because of fiscal mismanagement and because of monetary mismanagement. It's been a lethal combination. So now, with 34 trillion in debt, look, the Fed cannot raise interest rates. Okay? They can't. They can't raise interest rates. If they raise interest rates, I showed you yesterday, the banking system, I got crazy news for you about commercial real estate. Anyway, the banking system blows up. Corporations blow up. There's government debt. There's corporate debt. There's even personal debt. Americans, they don't have any money. I don't know, 65, 75, 55, whatever percent of Americans can't afford an emergency $500 event that may occur. That they need to fix their car and it costs $800. And people are like, no, everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. Sure, everybody's working like slaves, but they don't realize it. They're going to look back thousands of years at our society and say, how did they get these people to do that? I'm telling you. I digress. The Fed can't raise rates. But guess what? They can't lower rates either. All right. Everybody's clamoring. Oh, the Fed's going to lower rates. The Fed's going to lower rates. They've been saying it, right, for 6 months. Remember 5 months ago? 5 months. Yeah, it'd be 5 months ago, December. It was like, the Fed's going to lower rates 8 times during 2024. The Fed's going to lower rates 5 times. The Fed's going to lower rates 4 times. Now people are waking up to what we've been talking about for months. The Fed can't lower rates. And I'll tell you why. They can't raise rates because of all the debt. Everything goes boom, boom. They can't lower rates because you know what's going to happen to inflation? It's going to go through the roof. Sorry, I yelled at you. And that's the end of the story. Yeah, it's going to go through the roof, right? If they lower interest rates, it's going to go crazy. And we've already got crazy inflation, right? Think about what you paid for stuff 4 years ago. You're probably paying 40, 50% more for that same stuff, be it food, fuel, diapers, I don't know, lawnmowers, gasoline, whatever floats your boat, trading cards, everything's gone up, right? Because of money printing, right? If they lower rates now, and people are even saying that, it doesn't, the Fed is in big trouble. Gold and silver do know that. Yeah, we may have a short-term pullback. Yes, I'm predicting this will not be a good week for gold and silver. Yes, I'm admitting I'm wrong all the time. Do not make any financial decisions based on anything I'm saying. But guys, that's the situation that we're in, and it's not good. It's bad. Feel sorry for your little kids. I got 12-year-old twin daughters. I feel sorry for them, right? Who can afford a house? Well, I hope they aren't house shopping behind my back, but you know what I mean? If you're a 22, 23-year-old, my nephew Buttercup was able to buy a condo, but he's an exception, little Buttercup, because he's smart, right? But most other people, they can't buy houses. Right? These kids, they're in trouble. They got student loans coming out their ears. Oh, wait, but Joe Biden's going to forgive all the debt. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. I digress. Okay. Oh, here, let's just take a look at what the Fed's done quickly. You're tired of looking at me. I'm tired of looking at me. Let's look at something else. Where'd it go? Oh boy, here we go. Wait a minute. Rand. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Here it is. I knew I'd find it. Gold price versus the U.S. money supply. Okay. I'm going to go off on it. The other thing that should make you super angry, unless you're like one of the richest 0.1% or the richest 1% in this country, this inflation has stolen from you. The numbers don't lie. The distribution of wealth in this country has become so skewed where the top 1% owns so much of the assets. It's absolutely crazy unless you put your money into something like silver or gold. This chart starts in 1970. A second time I'm showing it to you, but it shows the gold price. Okay, see up there, gold price. I think you can see my cursor versus the US money supply. All right. And look at this. This is just what I want to point out. This starts in the 1960s at a base of 100. All right. The US money supply then has gone up. Let's go all the way down here. Gosh darn it. It always does this to me. I don't want to go to the mobile app. I'm on a live stream with all my basement dweller friends. Will you stop asking me? Okay. It started at 100. This means that in February, we don't even know where it is now, of 2000. Is that 2002? No, I'm sorry. That's the year 2023, February. Sometimes I get a little mixed up. We're all getting a little older. It may happen to you too. Anyway, the money supply has gone up by 46 times. Okay, you know what that is? Let me show you. Let's get Gomer out. He's going to make his daily appearance. Jerome Powell from the United States Federal Reserve, our special guest here in Ron's basement today. Here he is. All right. Do not open, but we don't follow directions. There he is, right? Him and his cohorts, right, have done this. Don't forget, right? It's called unicorn fart dust. We say that once during every live stream. That's what the paper money is, the money printer. I need to get a little miniature printer in there for him. He's printed away. Unless I want you to ask yourself a question. Okay. Look, if you're part of the 1%, you're in the wrong place. Get out of here. Leave the live stream. We're part of the other 99.5% or 98% or whatever it is. We got ripped off. See? Right? I can use the clean language. Oh my gosh, Ron McAdams, super chat. Thank you. I'm going to put you up on the screen, Ron. Hey, you're a good looking man. And you have a good first name. You've been ripped off. You. Yes. You. By money printing. Look, guys, if you're think about it. They printed all this money. This is critical for you to understand. Critical. If you had your money in gold, you're okay. If you had your money in silver, you're probably okay, right? If you're ultra rich, you own a bunch of stocks. Okay. And they've gone up. It's a bull market for stocks, right? Maybe you own a few stocks, whatever. Okay. But you've done you're put my portfolio. Boy, it's strange. I had $500,000 in my portfolio 12 years ago, and now I have 4 million. I'm rich. Well, good for you, buttercup, butterbutt. Is what I'd call that guy. The reality is that happened for the rich people. If you had a bunch of real estate, I've got 25 rental houses. Well, you've done well. Great. Good for you. If you're just a normal, hardworking, it's been a bull market in real estate. If you're a normal, hardworking American, you know what you've got over the last 15 years? Well, your salary went up maybe by 50%. Okay. But your buying power went down by 100% or 80%, right? You're poor. I digress. I try not to talk about politics with you or religion, whatever. I want to say thank you very quickly. Channel sponsor, First Mining Gold, Canadian gold development company. If you're interested in mining stocks, I'm going to talk about mining stocks later in this video. They, I believe, still represent a wonderful value opportunity. Okay. I'd recommend you check out First Mining Gold and channel sponsor Fortuna Silver, which is actually more of a gold mining company now. They do have silver mines in Mexico, in Peru, but they have gold mines in Argentina and 2 operating mines in West Africa. West Africa is crazy when it comes to gold. I'm actually going to make a video for you guys focused on West Africa. Excuse me, I'm choking up because there's a lot going on there and a lot of good for the people of West Africa as well. Okay, we got to talk about, it's a clown show. The Fed's one last thing on the Fed that I think really, really, really I want to drive home. This is big, right? Why did the Fed, think about, if the Fed was, if we were on the gold standard, we were on the bimetallic standard, which is when this country was made great, right? This country did great things. And throughout history, countries have done great things when they base their money in silver and gold, and wars don't occur so much because it's very difficult for countries to go to war when they have to finance it with silver and gold. Okay. And everyday average people like you and me, right, can work, right? With it, they don't, where is it? Can you believe they've convinced you to work for paper? I mean, they did, right? They convinced us to work for paper. I'm part of it. No problem. Where was I? It's something great to say. I don't know. It's just absolutely flabbergasted. Oh, the Fed. Sorry. You know, you're like me. I know my average viewer, you might be in your 50s. Our brains start to slow down a little bit. Welcome to Slow Ron's Basement, where I'm slow. Talk soft and slow. All right. But the Fed it's flabbergasting for us to realize. Okay. If the Fed was dealing with real money, imagine this. I want you to make believe with me real quickly. This will be fast. Then we're going to talk about, what should we talk about? We're going to talk about this crazy commercial real estate bomb. And one of them went off right here in St. Louis. And it is, I am not exaggerating. This is absolutely crazy nuts. And I have personal experience with this building. But why did the Fed, if the Fed still was dealing with real money, this, right? This. Oh, remember this? Here's a peace dollar. Here's today's show and tell coin, a 1925 peace dollar. That came from our friend Kimberly. Look at that. I love when it focuses. Okay. If the Fed was dealing with this, right, we wouldn't really care about the Fed because everything would be equal. Everything would be normal. But instead, because the Fed deals with make-believe land, right? Unicorn fart dust, paper money, whatever you want to call it, they got to be out there spreading the lies. Right? Confidence. It's all based on confidence, right? That's why the Fed has become, I'm the one that coined it. I hope I don't get in trouble. Well, the Fed's not really part of the government, and the Constitution protects me to be able to say this. The Federal Reserve, right, which the Fed and Federal Reserve is no more federal than the Federal and Federal Express, but nonetheless, right, they become more of a PR firm than a bank, right? They should be working with gold and silver over there, right? And the Fed, no, now they're nothing but a PR firm. Oh, Fed governor. Remember Boulard from St. Louis? He's gone now. Thank God, right? That guy would always torpedo for like 2 years. That was like his main goal in life, was to torpedo the price. Oh, James Boulard said that blah, 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 blah. Boom, gold and silver go down. You know, who knows what they'll say this week? I digress. Let's talk about what happens when commercial real estate crashes. What happens to the banks? What happens to the whole system? We know, right? Potential. I'm not saying I'm making any predictions here, but this is absolutely crazy what happened in St. Louis. I'm going to go just to prove to you. We even made Business Insider. Welcome to St. Louis. Business Insider. The city whose doom loop might just be worse than San Francisco's. Well, that's very comforting. All right, this is crazy, guys. Read this. And I know this building. An office building in St. Louis recently, and I mean in the last few weeks. I'm going to let you read it while I get a drink of coffee. Hold on. Read that. An office building in St. Louis sold for $3.6 million. Hey, that's a lot of money, right? More than I have, maybe more than you have. Maybe you're rich. I don't know. $3.6 million. After selling for $205 million 18 years prior. Oh, yeah, commercial real estate's in good shape. Wait a minute. I got something even more astounding to share this with you. Downtown St. Louis is filled up with unoccupied buildings and an unwillingness to visit them. Yeah, I would say I don't go downtown, right? I live here in St. Louis, okay? St. Louis's recent office vacancy rate is at a record high of almost 25%, according to JLL, whatever the heck that is. Who cares? Yeah, downtown St. Louis is kind of deserted. We've got an MLS team that just built a nice big new stadium. We got Busch Stadium for the Cardinals, but from a bit, it's kind of dangerous down there. Okay, it's kind of dangerous down there. But what's astounding about this? Okay, that building sold for 3.6 million after selling for 205 million 18 years prior. Think about this, guys. It sold for 205 million 18 years ago. What is 205 million in today's dollars? I would say at least 360 million, right? Right? If you adjust 205 million 18 years ago, I'm not saying that's accurate, but I would say that it's probably at least 360 million if you adjust that for inflation today. That means that building sold for 1%. That building was originally Southwestern Bell, which was then, absorbed back into AT&T. It's a massive, and it's a nice building. I used to work, I had a business in the IT consulting field. I had consultants who worked for me on long-term contracts. I put people to work in that building. I've been in that building. It's a top-notch facility, but it's now vacant and has been vacant for a while. And think about this. It's selling for one. I mean, who held the loan? What bank held that loan? I mean, that's a lot of money, right? $200 million 18 years ago. I mean, think about what is happening right now. And that's just one example. And, I'm bashing St. Louis, but think about throughout the country, there's a lot of other cities that aren't in much better shape. Okay. This is scary. Nobody talks about, remember, the banking crisis, the banks, and remember what was that thing called? They had the BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Program, right? When that was going to go. Think about what we just learned about. I want you to think about this in terms of a potential black swan in the banking sector. Not saying it's going to happen or anything like that, but think about what we just saw. One example of carnage in the commercial real estate sector, which equates to carnage to the balance sheet of some bank out there. Okay, and that's just one example. On top of that, I won't pull it up, but guys, we are at like nosebleed levels. When you look back over the last, for interest rates, sorry, I need to stay on track, for interest rates. So commercial real estate, carnage, bond market, carnage. When you look over the last 20 years, we've only had interest rates this high where we are right now as we're speaking, right, for like 2 or 3 months. Okay. And then you go back further in interest rates. I mean, you got to go back further than 25 years to have higher. The whole system was based on 0% interest rates. Bonds, big trouble. Commercial real estate, big trouble. Okay. That's all I'm saying. We'll leave it at that. Let's talk about China and silver. Okay. China. And this is great. This is crazy. We already know. You may know this, right? But that silver sells for $2 or $3 an ounce more in Shanghai, China, on a major exchange, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, the Shanghai Futures Exchange. Well, I wonder why. They're like, oh, hey, LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, we know you control the price of silver and gold. Yeah, sure, you control it. Go ahead, manipulate it down. COMEX, yeah, we know you guys, you got the handle on the gold and silver market. Yeah, you got it all under control, right? We looked at yesterday, the memo that came out, I believe, through WikiLeaks when they set up the COMEX and the LBMA. It was designed for manipulation. It was designed to discourage Western investors from holding silver and gold. Well, you know what? The people in China are like, hey, that's fine. Send it over. We'll take it. Here's a whole bunch of US dollar. You can have them back. We don't want them anymore. Send us your gold and silver. And wait till you hear this. Our friend John Little at thepickaxe.com, but he's got some other sites he has as well. This, I think, is one of the best pieces I've seen in a long, long time. Now I got to find it, so bear with me. There it is. Okay, this comes from the Silver Academy Substack, and I actually think I have a link to this. His work, he puts out something crazy interesting every single day about silver and gold. China switches strategy from stacking gold to take all the silver, quote unquote, sticking it to the U.S. short sellers. That would be the COMEX. And, we're sticking it to the London short sellers at the LBMA and market riggers. The Reddit apes, right? Remember the silver squeeze on Wall Street Silver, Silver Desian Club started the movement, but we ain't seen nothing. It's all about China and their unified focus. Watch TikTok, right? Fuel the real silver squeeze. I'm going to highlight that. The real silver squeeze. Now, this is very interesting. Here's a tweet from BJW. My wife is in China. She speaks and reads fluent Mandarin. Need to remember that. Chinese language is called Mandarin. She told me I can do a Chinese accent, but I can't speak Mandarin. She told me last night that Chinese media is writing articles, okay, and recommending silver as a better investment. Why is that moving? Anyway, as a better investment as gold gets more expensive. Then John points out some super interesting points. Guys, China, this is an insider telling us that the Chinese media, right? And the Chinese media is government controlled, is highly encouraging their citizens. They're taking all our silver. Okay. Andrew McGuire said it 3 or 4 weeks ago. He said, that the breaking of the COMEX and the LBMA could not be years away, but could be months away. And we know what happened to silver on Friday. Woof. Excuse me. Here we go. Let's just read through this list. This is very interesting. Thank you, John, our friend John. There are 1.4 million Chinese citizens. They can buy a lot of silver. Just starting this week, the Chinese government is advertising and telling its loyal people to buy silver instead of gold. Their orders in the past year were to stack gold. That's what the government was telling people, as John had reported back in November of 2023. I'm going to repeat. The Chinese government apparently is telling their citizens to stack silver. Silver and gold stacking is the cornerstone of their crafted and clever strategy of economic warfare. Oh, this is getting to be a crazy world. They understand that U.S. bankers, the Federal Reserve, and the Silver Institute have all been rigging silver prices for decades, despite dwindling silver inventory. The silver shorts in the West are at a very high level. Silver shorts in the West right now are at very high levels. The 3 silver riggers mentioned above executed and promoted these shorts. Bankers, Federal Reserve, and I believe John is referring possibly to the Silver Institute as well. Wow, absolutely crazy. What does it mean when you have 1.4 billion people who are being highly encouraged to buy silver? Gold up 20% in 2 months. Silver up 27%. Wow, I didn't realize that. I guess that makes sense. I mean, we were buying American Silver Eagles for 25, 26 bucks just 6 weeks ago. Crazy. Silver up 20. Did you buy some? This is a massive return. Investors in the West do not believe this silver move. Margin calls will crush silver short sellers. Okay. Those are the people that sold, thinking they could buy back later at a lower price. If the price continues to go up, they will be forced to buy back at higher prices, adding even more fuel. And then if your crazy neighbors that don't care about silver and gold decide to start buying some silver and gold, the Costco crowd, right? The new silver. Oh, we love it. What if silver comes back in vogue in the United States? Right? People start to realize, think about that. And the shorts have to cover at the same time. Silver miners' price levels are at 1/5 of where they stood at the same silver price in 2021. I'm not giving financial advice, but oh my gosh, the price of the mining stocks, even though it's done pretty well over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I'm very grateful, right? I have a lot of my own personal money in silver and gold mining stocks. I'm very grateful. They're still at unbelievable historic levels compared on almost any metric, okay? Not telling you what to do. Silver is also historically undervalued to gold. Oh my gosh, this just gets better and better, right? Yeah, what's the gold to silver ratio right now? It's still above 80. Are you going to take 4 tubes of American Silver Eagles and trade them in to get one ounce of gold? I don't know. Shanghai's price, Shanghai Gold Exchange, Shanghai Future Exchange price of silver is over $32 per ounce at the writing of this article. Whew, that's believable, right? Because it seems like lately we get information from the Oriental Ghost off Twitter telling us that like the silver price in Shanghai, which is a physical, I'm going to yell, hold your ears. Huh? Oh, Susie's home. Suzie was gone. Hi, Suzie. Okay, Suzie says we have 300 likes. I will ring the gong here. But guys, let's remember, Shanghai Gold Exchange is a physical market. That's the big difference. COMEX, LBMA, COMEX and LBMI in London, England, they trade make-believe silver. They like to live in the land of make-believe, Disneyland silver, right? Fairy dust silver, whatever you want to call it. Shanghai trades real metal, baby. And isn't it, what is, I mean, come on. You don't have to be Albert Eisenhower to realize that that means that the price in Shanghai is the real price, because that's the real silver price. What's the price when you go to your local coin shop? What's the price when you go to Pimbex for an ounce of silver? You know, I mean, even like a 10-ounce bar. We'll go out and look here in a second before we wrap this up. This is a magnet pulling U.S. silver. Oh, I like that. A magnet pulling U.S. silver prices higher. Oh, boy. Okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's just go out. I'm just curious, right? Silver. Where's 10-ounce bars? See, I'm on this website so much. I know how to get around. 10-ounce bars. Okay. Oh, my favorite. 10-ounce. Okay. Royal Canadian Mint, 10-ounce bar, $308. So that's probably what I would call, and then here's the other ones, more the generic ones and other mints, $298. This thing, we had one of these in a giveaway, the Geiger bar. Man, that was hard for me to ship, but I did. Yeah, our friend David down in Florida got that with a bunch of other silver. That is beautiful. I'm still tempted, but anyway, we could say that right now, the price of silver is, if you're going to buy it, right? This is like the Shanghai Gold Exchange. You want to buy physical metal from the best place in town with the best prices. You're going to buy it at 10 ounce, which to me is a good, kind of standard size to give us a good price level. You're looking at $30 an ounce. All right. That's the reality. That's what's going on. Oh boy, basement dwellers. We got big news out of Mexico. But first, you did it. Man, we have 800. We almost have 1,000 people. It's Sunday morning. Don't forget to pray. When I'm done here, I'm going to spend, I always do 5 minutes. I set a timer. But first, let's ring the gong for 300 thumbs up. You guys are not blowing me away. This is the golden gong. This is for you. 3 rings of the gong, baby. Okay. When we talk about silver, the other piece of astounding news, big news, breaking news about silver, okay, is that the production of silver is going down. Yes, there's been no money going into the world of silver over the last 10 years. No money, only the smart money. Right? Contrarians, people that realize value, people like me, probably people like you, right? I mean, the price of silver has been down. The price of the silver mining stocks has been just decimated. So there's no money going into developing, building new. But what about Mexico? Let's talk about what's going on in Mexico, because you guys, Mexico and the silver price and silver production mean everything. We got a double whammy, right? A big double whammy. Number one, there's no money going into The silver mining sector. That means hardly anybody's drilling for new silver. Sure, Hecla's doing some drilling. Of course, our friends at Fortuna, right? They're always looking at, they're doing some drilling. But overall, and those are the smart guys, right? Dolly Varden, some of the other, Suma Silver, BlackRock Silver, they're doing some, but there's very little, very, very, very little. That means there's no new silver coming into the pipeline, right? They're exhausting, the silver mining industry is exhausting their resources. They can't just make the stuff. They're not the Federal Reserve. They can't print it. That's not the way it works. They got to find it. Every ounce they do dig out of the ground is one less ounce they have. It's a depletion industry. But that's not the big news. The big news is Mexico is the world's biggest silver producer in the world. Has been for years and years. I think the Spanish, anyway, silver is a big deal in Mexico. Silver mining in Mexico is in the tubes. And one of the big reasons why is AMLO. They're making it. They don't want mining in Mexico anymore. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice like I'm in puberty again. They don't want mining in Mexico anymore. They don't. Suzie says I whine and I talk too loud. I do everything wrong. I say war instead of war. I say Putin instead of Putin. And for all intensive purposes, which I think is supposed to be for all intents and purposes, hey, great Nate. Suzie's flowers. I did buy Suzie flowers from Trader Joe's. I'm telling you, Trader Joe's I paid $12 for this bouquet of flowers. And it's 2 weeks old and it looks perfect still. You put that chemical in there. I don't know what that is. Flower preserver. Mexico silver. Enough about Suzie. You guys want to hear me talk about Suzie sometime? I'll make a whole video about Suzie because she's got to be like one of the nicest, best people. And I'm very fortunate to have her. But we're here to talk about silver in Mexico. Remember, no money, no pipeline for more silver. That will mean that 10 years from now, there will be even less silver coming out of the ground. You can't build a silver mine in a week. You can't build a silver mine in a year. You can't build a silver mine in 5 years. And on top of that, to compound things, the world's biggest producer of silver is Mexico. And Mexico is doing everything they can to discourage silver investing. Listen to this. Listen. Already under stress, Mexico is the world's leading silver producer. Mexico's Supreme Court could strike down the president's mining reforms next week. Once a popular destination for Canadian silver miners and explorers, Mexico's recent mining reforms are driving away investment. Remember, Mexico has the world's most silver. Even as a looming Supreme Court decision is likely to toss out the new law, deemed by industry sources as unworkable. The reforms introduced last May by President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, known by his initials as AMLO, require pre-consultation with communities before exploration, impact studies, and cash bonds in case of damage that the junior explorers may find difficult to raise. They also want to get rid of open pit mining in Mexico. Guys, Mexico, from labor unions to government, this will have a massive impact, okay, on the supply of silver, which has already been constrained. And I want you to think about that, okay? The silver mining industry, no money, no exploration, no development, okay? Mexico, the world's biggest silver producer, discouraging, doing everything they can to say, no more, we don't want mining here, no more. While at the same time, right, that's the supply. Over here, we've got demand going through the roof, right? Electronics, solar panels. India imported 70 million ounces of silver in February alone. That's almost 10% of the world's production. That's demand. Solar panels, electronics, electric cars, artificial intelligence. Eventually, you won't even have to listen to me. You can just go to some artificial intelligence guy who's made up in his basement. Anyway, the demand going through the roof. And what did we just hear about China? Mic drop. Mic drop, right? That I don't care what they say. I believe in silver. I could be wrong, right? I believe in $100 silver. And I believe that realistically. I believe in $80 silver. It can happen, guys. Everything else, right? Look at what Bitcoin did. Look at what Amazon stock did. Look at what housing prices have done, right? Things can go up in multiples, and the fundamentals, those are called the fundamentals, right? Decreasing supply, increasing demand, eventually market forces prevail. And we're talking about God's money. We're talking about the original money. Silver is the original money. Silver was money before gold. Okay? That's a fact, Jack. That's the way it goes. So that's what we're headed for. Let's do a quick review. Hold on a second. $3,000 gold tomorrow, not going to happen. Okay? Right? And we could have a rough week for the metals this week. Long term, it's all noise. Long term, the value, the bottom line affecting the silver price and gold price measured in dollars is that the dollar is losing real value. Okay? We pray for the world, right? We're talking about human beings as we're talking about war, right? Middle East, Europe, potential China, Taiwan, potential North Korea. We don't want higher silver and gold. We don't need people being hurt for the silver and gold price to go up. You're a caring, wonderful person. I know that about you as well. Commercial real estate is done, right? Is done even in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri, right? Home of the Gateway Arch and the St. Louis Cardinals. We just had an office building sell, in which I think in inflation adjusted numbers for 1% of what it sold for. How could you? This is a massive building, guys. It's like a skyscraper metropolis type building, and it's a newer building. How could it sell for 1% of what it sold for? Or 2% if you don't even want to adjust it for inflation. 2% of what it sold for. I think 18 years ago. Absolutely crazy. And we know what's going on with China. Silver, thank you for being here. Hey, we're trying to get Ron's Basement onto Apple Podcast. I don't think it's out there yet, but hopefully here in the next couple days. Don't forget, go to ronsbasement.com. We are doing a little giveaway. Our friend Big G from CT, that starts tomorrow. You can start guessing on that couple ounce giveaway. If you can guess the price of silver on July 3rd, 2024. And yep, I guess that's it, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. You're special, right? It's a big deal when you join us. And I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.